Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Detroit Tigers franchise mode here in MLB The Show 21. So in last episode, we had the entire off season, so we did our contracts, we had the Rule 5 draft, all that sort of stuff, just to get our team set up for this upcoming season. So right now, this is what our roster looks like. So we don't have the greatest team, obviously, but it is a young team that should develop into being something decent. So, like, we got our starting pitchers in Turnbull, Wentz, Manning, Mize, and Tehran. We do got our top prospect that we drafted last year in Chauncey McElroy down there in AAA, who looks like he should be a pretty good player for the most part. His Ks in 9 and his home runs in 9 aren't great, so we might have to get him to be training in that area so he could develop in those into being something decent, but he's going to be probably a pretty good MLB pitcher at some point. Very excited to see how he pans out. We also got some other good players down there in AAA and whatnot. And then we go to our relief pitchers. We got Daniel Norris, Colin Poche, I think it's pronounced, Tyler Alexander, and Jose Zerno, and Michael Fulmer. We got some other prospects that we traded for a couple episodes ago, like Dylan File down in AAA too. Closing pitcher wise, we got Aoki, Soto, and Jimenez. And then we also got Diego Corona down there in AAA. I could move him to AA if he doesn't perform well in Triple, but there is his attributes as well. Catcher-wise, we got Wilson Ramos and Jackson Reitz, who we traded for. He's a 71 right now. I don't know if he's going to become that number one catcher, really. But once Wilson Ramos retires or something, or we let him go, Jackson Reitz could be potentially that number one catcher for us while we look for an actual good catcher prospect that's like an A potential or something. And we go to our first baseman. We got Renato Nunez and Fernando Valdez, who we drafted last year as well. He's got B potential. He's already a 75, and if you look at his attributes, he looks like he's going to be a very good power hitter. So I'm very excited to see what he's like when he gets to the MLB, but he should be a guy that crushes a lot of home runs, gets a lot of contact as well, so he gets on base a decent amount. And yeah, I'm very excited to see how he plays. And then Miguel Cabrera was actually put on waivers by the AI. I didn't do that, so I don't know if he's going to get claimed, but he might be down in AAA to start the season. And then we go to our second baseman. We got Harold Castro. We also have Vidal Brujan, who's in the AAA club. And then we also have Eduardo Cortez, who's another guy we drafted. He doesn't look too bad either. He looks more like a contact hitter, but he's not the greatest player. He's also decent at fielding already, but we'll see if he develops into being something decent. We got Candelario on third base, and we also got some other prospects like Paredes on third base as well. Shortstop-wise, we got Castro, Gundrum, and Montez. And then we also got Luis Garcia in AAA, so we could probably get rid of one of these guys eventually. Like, Montez and Gundrum are probably not going to be the best players at some point. They're all, like, past their prime, I think. We also got, for left fielders, Bryant Packard, but he's in AAA. Center field-wise, we got Victor Reyes, Brock Deathridge, and then we also got Drew Waters still, who's developing, and Akil Baddoo. Hopefully, Baddoo develops still. Right fielding wise, we still got Nomar Mazara, who is 26, and yeah, that's pretty much what we got. So it should be an interesting season. I do have one comment to go over before we actually start simulating and all that stuff, and that is from Troy Mitchell. It's actually a combination of two comments from him. He says, I would look to bring in 1 to 2 veteran pitchers, and I think he means Chris Davis, but I'm not 100% sure. And he says if you could sign him to a 1 to 3 year deal, it could be a good trade bait, or he could be a good power bat still. So he wants us to bring in the 1 to 2 veteran pitchers to play on our team, which kind of makes sense. Then we could always send down Mize to AAA, I think. Yeah, we could always send down Mize and we could always send down Mize and maybe even Manning, just so that way our bullpen down in the AAA club, it still gets some good development. Like Manning, Mize, and McElroy as their top 3 would be really good. We could always bring in those if need be. He also mentions, he says, I agree to let the young guys play, but for the pitchers, if they have bad years, even though you have a bad team, it could impact their potential and growth. So I usually sign some year to give some young guys time. For example, he says, for example, I'm a year or 2 ahead, and I haven't brought Mize up yet. And in 1 year, he has jumped up to a 79. By 3rd year, he'll be my best pitcher. Okay. So yeah, we could always play Mize in triple, which would make sense. Then we'd have him and McElroy as the top two, Scooble as well, and then Ladwig and stuff like that. So we could always bring in some veteran ones just to kind of make sure our prospects actually get development, because they might not. So let's actually take a quick look at what is there still the free agency thing? Yeah, there's still free agents. If we look at starting pitchers, though, there's not really anything except for Jeff Samardziza, who we could bring in, but he is very old. I mean, we could always bring him in and then put Mize down, and then get Mize a year of development in AAA. Yeah, I think I might do that. Even though Samardziza is not great, we'll just bring him in for 1 year. He has no interest in 1-year deals, it looks like, though, which is the only problem. Unless I go up a little bit, which I could do. Yeah, we'll give him a 1-year, $3.5 million deal, and then we will send down Casey Mize to AAA just because he is one of our top pitcher prospects. I'll keep Manning up here for now, but we will send down, we'll send down Mize to triple. Yeah, okay, we'll use one of his minor league options, which is one of the last ones we'll use for him, and that is good. Now, if we look at our pitching rotation, we'll throw in Samardziza, who is not showing up there for some reason, so we'll have to let the AI auto assign that. But anyways, before we start simulating a little bit more, I want to show you guys the prospect pool for the draft. Now, I was looking through this entire draft to see if we could find a very good player, and I was looking at all the blue chip prospects already before recording this, and there actually is some pretty intriguing players in this draft, at least to me. I don't know if they're accurate or what, but so this closing pitcher, if we wanted to get a closing pitcher, this guy looks like he's going to be a very good closing pitcher, but we do have Corona in AAA, so this guy we could always bring in, but he might not be that bad. Like, his ETA is 2023 and he's 18, so he actually might be like a 70-something overall, which would be pretty nice to bring in. But I don't know if we really need a closing pitcher that early. But the guy that I was most interested about was this Gary Hara guy. He's a 21-year-old from Japan, and he looks like he has the potential to be a very good contact hitter and power hitter to an extent. His his speed and his steal, his reaction, his accuracy, his arm, all that sort of stuff is very good. So he's kind of, I would say, to an extent like Ichiro Suzuki to an extent, because he's got good contact, he's got the good speed and stealing, and then he's also got good fielding and accuracy. And this guy's also an outfielder, so I think this guy might be very intriguing to take if we do have the first overall pick, which would be really nice. So he could be a potential acquisition for this team. There's also another left fielder, but he is a little bit older and he's not as good. He does have the same ETA, though, at 2024. There's also other closing pitchers like Asensio, who's not great. There's also Sam Arturo, who's another closing pitcher, who's 18. So there's actually some pretty decent stuff. And then also, if we wanted to go for starting pitchers, there's this Gerald Pugh guy, whose ETA is 2025. So there is actually a decent mix of looking like good prospects. And then the rest of these guys are like 2026 plus. So they aren't as intriguing really to me. So I think if we do get, though, first overall, which I'm pretty sure we will, I think we should probably go for Gary Harris. So if you guys agree with me, let me know down below in the comments. And in next episode, when we do the draft, we will get Gary Harris because I think he's going to be the best. But we are going to wait and see what the scouts pick up on the rest of these players, because who knows, maybe even this Bob Cheekas guy is better than some of these blue chip guys. So we'll just find out when we sim. And yeah, let's sim a little bit. The draft is when, I don't even always remember when the draft is, but we'll just go sim to draft day. So this is going to be probably a pretty quick episode, but let's sim and let the AIs do the scouting. And yeah, we'll just go autofix all and autofix all. So yeah, it should be another horrible year for this team, which is a good thing in a way because we do need to get some development, but hopefully it doesn't ruin some of our young guys. We are winning some games, which is kind of surprising because this team is not that good. So we are at the deadline, or not at the deadline, now at the draft now. We are 14-32, so better than I was expecting, but still bad on in terms of the division, which is good. Let's take a look at how our players have been playing so far. So in the MLB, Spencer Turnbull has been not great. Joey Wentz has been horrible. 7.51 ERA. But he is 23 in B potential, so I don't know if I'm kind of risking by playing him, but he's been horrible so far. Hopefully that doesn't ruin his potential and stuff like that. Matt Manning has also been pretty horrible. Casey Mize in AAA has been killing it, which is good. Hopefully he gets that development. I think he already jumped up by 1 overall point, so good comment on that. Good comment, Troy. That helped out a lot, I think, already. Sammer Diza went down to single A. For some reason, he dropped off in the AI decided to put him down to single A. So I guess we just brought him in for no reason. Chauncey McElroy in AAA has been not great so far, but he is young. We could actually demote him down to Double A if we want to, but I don't know. We could move him to Double A, and then we don't risk kind of like stunting his growth. So I think, yeah, I'm going to move him to Double A for now, just to see if he can play a little bit better in Double, and then maybe get some confidence going back to Triple. And then we go here. Daniel Norris has actually been pretty good as a reliever, but like, yeah, our pitching has been horrible, which makes kind of sense. Kind of curious more about these batters. So Wilson Ramos is batting at 253. Reeds is batting at 211, not great. Nunez at 224. Fernando Valdez in AAA has been pretty good. 5 home runs and 26 RBIs. His batting average is not great. He actually is dropping, which is kind of weird. Huh. I could drop him down to Double as well, but I don't know if I will. What else do we got here? Vidal Brujan got called up for some reason. Interesting. I hate when the AI auto does all this sort of thing, but I turned off auto, I'm pretty sure, on everything. Cortez has been pretty solid in AAA, which is good. A 280 average. Damn, our shortstops have been pretty good, actually, in terms of batting. Bob Montez is actually on the IL with a fractured leg for 1 to 2 months, so that's not good for him. Left fielder-wise, Packard's been really good in AAA. Victor Reyes got injured early on to the year, and he's out for 1 to 6 days with a broken shin. Yeah, we have been struggling in all facets right now, which is good in a way, because the more top picks we get, the better prospects we're probably going to get for our team. I'm really surprised our contact is actually top 10, though, in the MLB right now. Okay, so since we're technically at the draft, I can't simulate anymore, but let me go to the training, for example, because I haven't actually really worked around with this training thing. Let me go to Chauncey McElroy, though. And we need... Wait, what is he doing? Pitch simulated game. Let's just get him a pitch simulated game, get him some stuff down there. But what I was going to check is the draft class again, just to see if we found out anything about those guys that weren't fully scouted yet. And yeah, we'll go here and let's see what we got here. So there is some guys that are also kind of close to being fully scouted that aren't. Let's go by ETA actually. So if we look at this, there is some relievers that could be intriguing if we want to get a relief pitcher, but I don't think it's worth it taking a relief pitcher at number 1. But these guys could be still pretty good ones for like the 2nd round potentially. But who knows if they'll actually fall to the 2nd round. Phil Chavez is already 23, which is a bit risky, but he is ready next year, I think, or 2 years from now, which means he'll be like 25 when he gets to the MLB. If we wanted to get an older player. Who else is close to being scouted? There is also some other 2023 guys that could be pretty good, but this is totally unreliable at this rate. We want guys that are more like Castillo, who's kind of close to being accurate. He might actually be a pretty good pitcher. I hope some of these guys are in the 2nd round. Henry Bright, 2024. Yeah, so we don't still know really fully anything about this draft class that much, but I do think we still should take that fielding guy because he looks like he's going to be a really good player. And then we also got Veras, who looks like he could be another good right fielder. 18 years old. Maybe that guy's a good late round pick. He only has 75 potential, maybe, though. What else we got here? Actually, let's sort by this again. See all these greens. So Guadalupe Chavez, he's almost fully scouted. He could be okay, I would say. More average than okay, though. And then Guadalupe Morales, he actually has he might have really good contact against right-handers. Just kind of intriguing, but his ETA is not great. What about this dude? Pretty average. Maybe more of a good fielding player than anything. Pretty good. Wait, this guy's a catcher. Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, I'd say he's an average to good catcher, but he is 23. But he's only got a 55 potential, so it's like, eh. This Eloy Sosa guy could be pretty decent, maybe. What about this second baseman? He doesn't look good. Yeah, so if we are going to take that fielding guy, I think he might be the best option at these blue chip prospects. Like, I'll go through all their attributes right now again, just so you guys could let me know for next episode. So there's Rob Baxter, who he could go with, but he is 20 years old and he's got an ETA of 2026 plus. There's also Alec Polk, who's another starting pitcher, 21 already, 2026 plus. So those guys probably not, because they're going to be a bit older when they get to the MLB. There's Gerald Pugh, who's 18, who could be a pretty good all-around pitcher. And he's got an ETA of 2025, which is a couple years out. There's Alan Light, who's a shortstop, who is 19 and 2026 plus. He's probably going to be more of a project than anything. There's also Porter Uchida, who's probably going to be more of a project, and he's already 23, so not very good. There's Taylor Farrell, who's 23 years old. He is probably going to be a higher overall since his ETA is sooner, so he might not be as much of a project, but he is already 23. Then there's Rene Maldonado, who's a second baseman, 2026 plus, 19 years of age. Could be intriguing, maybe not, I don't know. He also could play shortstop, which is intriguing. Gary Hara, who I was mentioning, I think is the best option to go with. He's 2024 ETA. He's 21, so he's going to make the MLB probably when he's like 22 or 23. But he's pretty much the best all-around player I've seen, because pretty much every one of his attributes at this rate look like it could be above average, which is really good. Like right now, it's not. Like right now, his fielding and stuff are really good, but his batting needs to get a little bit of development. So I think he's probably the best option. Marcos Mora, another starting pitcher, 2026 plus, could be decent. And then there's also Sam Artur as a closer, 2025 ETA, 18 years of age. He's probably a pretty good closer. Asensio could be also a pretty good closer. And then Daniel Batista is probably the best closer out of the three. And there's also Charlie Ferris, but he's also probably more of a project. And same with Robert Jones, and Robert Jones is already 20. And those are all the blue chip prospects. So if you guys think Gary Hara should be the number one pick, let me know. I think for sure I would take him. But if there is a different guy you think should be a better prospect for this team, let me know. I think Gary Hara is pretty much the perfect fit for this team for prospects, because if we look at our left fielding prospects right now, we do got Bryant Packard, who's a good prospect, and then we also actually got this guy too, but I don't know if he's going to develop into being much. So we could look at getting Hara, and then we'd have a top left fielding prospect that could be almost MLB ready, which would be pretty good. Let's take a quick look at our player stats so far. Actually, isn't there like a different player stats screen that I haven't used yet? Yeah, here we go. So let's take a quick look at this just to see who's leading us and all that stuff. So at bats is Renato Nunez. Runs so far is Nunez. Hits so far is Candelario. Most home runs is Nunez with 8 so far on the season. Most RBIs is also Nunez. Stolen bases is Montez, who's injured. Best batting average by a starter is going to be Bob Montez, who was injured. On base percentage is Cole Peterson. Slugging percentage is Cole Peterson. OPS, damn, yeah, Cole Peterson's been our best batter. He's actually been really good for OPS, if I'm not mistaken, because somebody commented about OPS before, I think. Or maybe it was WAR that I'm thinking of. Based on balls, Candelario, strikeouts, Nunez, doubles, Montez, but Willie Castro is right behind him. Triples, Castro and Deathridge. And yeah, I don't know what the rest of these stats are. Pitching wise, the most wins so far on the year is Tyler Alexander with 4 wins. He's a relief pitcher. Most losses so far is Wentz. Most saves is Colin Poche, one of our... He's a closer, but I guess he's playing as... Or a reliever, but he's playing as a closer, maybe. Let's see, most strikeouts, Matt Manning. Best ERA by a pitcher is Norris and an Aoki. But best by a starter is Tehran. Best whip by a starter is Turnbull with a 135, which is not great. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Detroit Tigers franchise mode. So next episode, we will take it to the draft. We'll maybe simulate a little bit more as well. And yeah, I think we're going to get some good prospects again in for this team. And yeah, it's probably going to take a couple years for this team to actually be competitive, but we are going to have a very good young team at some point, I think. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.